All right, hello again, everyone. We are back. It's your friend Will. This is the Memory Lapse. And we're trying some more best of one Drakes. We went 2-1 in the last video, so +1 win. If we can just keep going 2 wins, 1 loss, we'll get to plat in no time. And this I think we can keep. We have the tap land to enable Discovery, Lava Coil, Clarion. So this seems awesome. Put the spell down here just to grow the Enigma Drake. Take Clifftop. Set us up for the Drake next turn if we need it. Yeah. So we're sort of walking this into a Lava Coil, but I think that's okay. We just don't have any other way to protect it. Alright, let's discover Lava Coil Shock. Lava Coil is rate to be very good in this matchup. Assuming that they're on Drakes based on what we've seen here, which is just blue and red lands and opt and Lava Coil. Looks like they're probably digging for another blue source if their first Drake is going to be Crackling. Oh, they could actually be on Phoenix if they're playing Guildgate. We want to find threats now. The downside of Lava Coil in a dive down metagame is that you can't like really go Lava Coil and then in response to dive down Lava Coil because of the sorcery speed, but it's still good. Huh. Alright, well this is a good opportunity to actually see Niv-Mizzet in action. If we find one more land. Red, red, blue, blue, blue. It doesn't really matter what color it is. But I think first we need to try to kill... I would very much like to have a 7th land. So that we can play this and protect it. So let's just see if this hits. Does. Remembering Mystic. Alright. So Niv-Mizzet will do a good job against Remembering Mystic for sure. I'm pretty sure we have the advantage here. They didn't have dive down before. We just want to make sure we do this in such a way that we don't like screw up. So the most efficient thing to do would be to lead with Lava Coil. And I think we're okay, because if they go dive down, we still have... Yeah, I think we'll be okay. But maybe the best thing to do Alright, so they play the dive down. So Murmuring Mystic resolves. I think we just have to shock it in response. And then we're just going to put Niv-Mizzet triggers onto their Niv-Mizzet. I draw, trigger, shock hits. They have a trigger, I have a trigger. And then my trigger hits for 1 before their dive down resolves. So we did the thing. We untap with Niv-Mizzet. The other line I was considering was like, would it have been better to lead off by Lava Coiling the 1/5? But considering they didn't show us the dive down for the Crackling Drake, and I guess they were holding it for the Niv-Mizzet, it was worth trying to figure out. Alright. On the draw, this is a little bit... This is what the downside of the white splash is. Your deck is really check land heavy. But yeah, until Hollow Fountain, this splash is a little more costly than it could be. But I think we'll keep this. Because we can play the Sulfur Falls and shock. 2 early game shocks if we need it. That kind of... This is maybe worst case scenario because this enables them to like get value out of the elf. They can play something like this that can grow out of the shock. So this is like absolutely the maximum punished we can be, and they're going to grow this to 4/3. Yeah. So that's an example of I think we still need to slow this down. The risk of just playing with this number of check lands, knowing that the shuffling algorithm does not take that into account. Alright, so let's coil this Reaper. They don't get to draw. Well, this is the upside of having Deafening Clarion in the deck, for sure, is that for draws like this from our opponent, we actually have a shot at top decking a sweeper here, clearing them out. They're going to have Vivian Reed next turn. And we have no way to protect. I guess we're charting to find land drop. We do. And we're charting away the other chart. Because we can play Fortress and have Shock opt. We need to find something that can protect a Drake. So... right. So much for Shock opt. I fell for it again. Twice in one morning. You see all these dual lands, and at a certain point you just assume they're going to come into play on tap. Like, how can I have so many rare lands and they all are guild gates? Happens to us. Well, we want to draw. We know that we're sacrificing this Drake. I think for sure if these lands come into play untapped, this is like a much, much, much easier game for us. They don't get the turn 2 Jade Light. We actually get to like play this stuff on curve, but we're essentially 2 turns behind here. Because we were on the draw also. And this is a matchup that we're targeting with this deck. But obviously this is not going to be successful when we time walk ourselves repeatedly. So we can opt here. We can survive if we find a Clarion. We don't, so let's skip it up. A little unfortunate. Those explosive draws out of green-black are one of the appealing things about the deck, because even though I think the blue-red deck is favored, sometimes they're just going to make 4/3s and beat you down. And you can't remove them all. Alright, so this time I have a Steam Vent. So very, very similar hand, but our lands will be unlocked. Okay, so if they're like on Grixis or something, the search for Azcanta could be very good. Or they're on all check lands. And they're going to put us potentially on Jeskai here, so... Oh, now they won't. I'm guessing they're going to take one of the Drakes. Wow, they took the chart. So what does that tell us about their hand? And they kept on top. We need that red source. I'm guessing it tells us that they have like Ritual of Soot. Maybe they think that they can just sweep up 2 Drakes with that. No. Or they just have more Thought Erasures, so it doesn't matter. Search for Azcanta is going to help us a lot here. We do need to be conscious of Ritual of Soot, though. If they're playing Esper, they almost certainly have it. Unless they miss land drop here. Okay, so something else is going on here. Let's just play this Drake. If they didn't want us to have it, seems good to play it. And this protects us from a Wrath type effect now. Although if they play White Source and Wrath us, then an actual Wrath effect we're not protected against. But based on the way that they've played, I think that maybe if they have anything, they have Soot. Or they just have some 1-for-1 removal, which advantages us. Okay. So they're pushing the settle, we're guessing, because they don't have a second white source. This does not seem like it's going to be good. So if we attack for 4... There's a difference between, so if we play Shock, put them to 20, and then they take 6 to go to 14. So that actually increases our clock by quite a bit. Plus it helps us flip our search next turn. Plus we don't have reason to believe the Shock is going to be very good. Psychic Corrosion. That's a win condition. Alright, so we can find something like a draw 2 here. Yeah, this is perfect. Yeah, we're going to play this second main to get the 2 cards. And what a great 2 they were. This is going to guarantee that we can keep growing Drakes every turn. Let's just shock them now. Goes to 5. Discovery. Grow it to 6/7. Dive down as a sick one here. Even if they play a Wrath and we can't protect the Enigma Drake, it's going to be really good if we find a Niv-Mizzet. We don't have a lot of good stuff on the bottom, so... Our opponent did get a little unlucky here. They obviously missed some land drops, and all their lands are check lands. Oh, I don't know that there's a reason to activate the Azcanta main phase 1. I'm guessing that they're going to settle the wreckage us. If their plan is to contempt us or use any other kind of removal to dive down, wins us the game. Maybe, I guess, looking for a second dive down makes sense, in case they have, like, double cast down, but I think they would have maybe done it last turn. Let's just make sure we pay for this, like, in the way that gives us the most open blue mana. If it's settle the wreckage, though, dive down doesn't help us. Dispersal. Alright, consider my permanent returned. I guess the question is whether or not we shock them end of turn. How many shocks do we have left? 1, but we do have a reasonable shot of finding it, right? I don't think this gives them an opening to do much here. Second dive down's awesome. They could have the exact same play here. Alright. 5's not enough. But they could be looking for Grass's Contempt. Alright, looks like we got them. Hard fought by Garfield here. Yeah, let's take a look at the time. That was a long one. Yeah, 21 minutes. How many games did we get done there? Just 2, but I think we're going to put a stop to it because obviously you can hear there's a lot going on in the background. But yeah, this deck so far is feeling good. It's a little bit slower, but it has more play to it, and I think we can keep winning with it. So, and yeah, we're +1 right now, or plus another 1. So yeah, we'll be back again shortly with another round, and also I've been trying to squeeze in at least an hour or so evening, just music streams where we've been playing. So be sure to check those out, Twitch information below. And remember to like, subscribe, and comment if you're enjoying the content. And stay tuned for the next video coming soon.